There comes a time in every person's life when the road narrows, the voices around them grow silent, and they are left with nothing but their own thoughts. This is not an accident, nor is it misfortune. It is divine orchestration. You are being separated from the masses, not because you are forgotten, but because something within you is awakening. The journey of the individual is sacred, because it is the only path through which true transformation occurs. From birth, we are conditioned to believe that safety is found in numbers, that belonging is the highest virtue, and that to walk alone is to be lost. But what if the opposite were true? What if solitude was the birthplace of power? What if separation was the sign of elevation? Every great change in history was born from an individual who dared to step away from the crowd. The prophets, the visionaries, the inventors, the creators, none of them waited for permission to walk a path unseen by others. They moved forward despite the doubt, despite the fear, despite the absence of visible proof. The world you see is not as rigid as you have been led to believe. It is shaped and molded by consciousness, by the thoughts you habitually entertain, by the assumptions you refuse to let go of. When you walk alone, you are given the rarest of gifts, the ability to hear yourself without distortion. No longer are you influenced by the fears of those around you, the limitations imposed by the collective mind, the smallness of those who have never dared to dream. You begin to see the world as it truly is, an externalized projection of your own inner state. To walk alone is to confront yourself, and this is what most people spend their lives avoiding. They drown out their inner voice with noise, with distractions, with endless opinions that are not their own. They seek companionship not for connection but for escape. You, the one who has been called to walk alone, are being given a higher task. You're being stripped of illusions so that you may see clearly. You are being removed from the crowd so that you may remember your own authority. There will be moments when the silence feels unbearable, when doubt whispers that you have made a mistake. But understand this, the discomfort is not a sign to turn back. It is proof that you are on the threshold of something greater. Growth has never been comfortable, and transformation has never been painless. The old self must dissolve before the new self can emerge, and this process is never done in the presence of the many, but always in the solitude of the one. The journey of the individual is sacred because it is the only way one comes to know their true power. To rely on the world is to be at its mercy. To rely on oneself is to command it. Those who walk alone do not do so because they are weak, but because they have been chosen for something greater. Before anything in life can transform, it must first be set apart. The seed does not sprout in the open. It is buried in darkness, hidden beneath the earth, separated from all it once knew. The caterpillar does not emerge as a butterfly in the presence of the world. It withdraws into the cocoon, isolated, unseen, forgotten. Every great change in nature is preceded by a period of separation, and so it is with you. You may find yourself in a season where familiar faces disappear, where old comforts no longer satisfy, where the world you once knew begins to dissolve. This is not a sign of misfortune, but of preparation. You are being removed from what no longer serves you, so that you may become what you were always meant to be. Transformation is never born in the midst of the crowd. It is born in the silence where you are left alone with nothing but your own thoughts. There is a reason why the greatest ships in life feel isolating. The person you are becoming cannot exist in the environment that shaped who you used to be. The habits, beliefs, and attachments that once felt natural now feel foreign because they no longer belong to the version of you that is emerging. But the mind, conditioned to seek comfort, will resist this process. It will attempt to hold on to what is crumbling, to force familiarity where it no longer fits, to cling to the very things that must be released. This is why separation often feels like loss, when in reality it is a divine intervention. You were never meant to remain stagnant. Growth demands that you shed the old to make space for the new, but this shedding is not always gentle. It may come in the form of relationships drifting away, careers no longer fulfilling you, desires shifting in ways you did not expect. The things and people that once felt essential may suddenly feel distant, and you may wonder if you are being abandoned. But understand this, nothing real is ever lost. What leaves your life does so because it can no longer accompany you to where you are going. This is the sacred nature of separation. It does not come to harm you, but to prepare you. It removes distractions so that you may see clearly. It dismantles the familiar so that you may embrace the unknown. It takes away what is small so that you may inherit what is vast. Most people resist this process, choosing instead to remain in places, relationships, and identities that no longer fit. But those who trust the separation, who surrender to the isolation, who allow themselves to be stripped of the unnecessary, are the ones who undergo true transformation. The discomfort of separation is temporary, but the evolution it brings is permanent. You are not being punished, you are being refined. You are not being forsaken, you are being elevated. You are not losing, you are becoming. Everything you see, everything you experience, and everything you believe to be reality is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. It mirrors your assumptions, your beliefs, your expectations, and the deep-seated convictions you hold about yourself and life. This is the great secret, hidden in plain sight. Your external world is only an outpicturing of your internal world. Most people believe that circumstances shape their lives, that they are at the mercy of events beyond their control. But the truth is, circumstances are merely the shadows cast by the thoughts you entertain. Your consciousness is the cause, the world is the effect. If you wish to change what you see, you must first change what you are. To fight against external conditions without addressing their internal source is like trying to change the reflection in a mirror without altering the face that stands before it. The mirror only reflects, it does not create. Every belief you hold manifests itself in some form. If you believe the world is harsh, unforgiving, and full of obstacles, that is precisely what you will encounter. If you believe life is abundant, opportunities are everywhere, and you are worthy of success, the world will arrange itself to confirm this truth. The outer world bends to the dominant state of your inner world. People will treat you in accordance with how you expect to be treated. Money will flow to you in alignment with your beliefs about wealth. Love will find you or evade you based on what you assume to be true about relationships. Nothing in your external reality is separate from you. It is all an extension of your own consciousness. This is why lasting change can never come from external force alone. You cannot will your world into transformation without first shifting the thoughts and beliefs that sustain it. Temporary changes may occur, but unless the internal foundation is rebuilt, the old patterns will inevitably return. This is why so many people repeat the same experiences, meet the same types of people, and encounter the same struggles, no matter how much they try to change their actions. They have not yet transformed the consciousness that is creating their reality. The world does not judge, does not discriminate, does not choose favorites. It simply reflects. It gives back to you exactly what you assume to be true, without question, without hesitation. If you want to know what you truly believe, look at your life. It is the perfect mirror, revealing every hidden assumption you hold about yourself and the world around you. And if you do not like what you see, you do not need to fight the reflection. You need only change the mind that is producing it. The power is and always has been within you. The moment you take responsibility for your consciousness is the moment you reclaim authority over your world. Everything you desire, everything you long for, everything you believe is missing is already within you, waiting for your recognition. The world is not separate from you. It is you expressed outwardly in form. Every person you encounter, every interaction you experience, and every relationship you form is a reflection of your inner state. Others do not act independently of your assumptions. They are drawn into your reality as manifestations of what you believe to be true. The people in your life are not separate from you. They are shadows cast by your consciousness, playing out the roles you've unconsciously assigned to them. You may think people treat you the way they do because of who they are, but in truth, they treat you in alignment with who you assume yourself to be. If you believe people are untrustworthy, you will find yourself surrounded by deception. If you expect kindness and respect, you will receive it effortlessly. Your relationships, whether harmonious or filled with conflict, are merely the outer projection of the beliefs you hold about yourself and others. You are not meeting individuals, you are meeting your own consciousness in human form. This is why two people can encounter the same person and have entirely different experiences. One sees hostility where another sees kindness. One feels rejected where another feels embraced. The difference is not in the other person, but in the perception of the one observing. Everyone you meet is shaped by your assumptions about them, even before a single word is spoken. You do not attract people at random. You attract those who confirm your dominant beliefs. If you wish to change how others behave toward you, you must first change the assumptions you hold about them. You cannot demand love while expecting rejection. You cannot call for loyalty while believing betrayal is inevitable. The outer world only mirrors what you believe in the depths of your being. To shift your reality, you must shift your consciousness. Most people seek change by attempting to control the actions of others. They argue, persuade, manipulate, or withdraw in an effort to shape external behavior. But this is like chasing shadows, trying to rearrange reflections in a mirror without altering the face that stands before it. The true work is internal. If you assume someone will treat you with love and respect, they will. If you expect to be overlooked and dismissed, the world will confirm that belief. Others can only act according to the script you have written for them in your mind. Even those who seem to oppose you, those who challenge or frustrate you, are still playing a role in the reality you have constructed. They appear not to harm you, but to reveal to you the unconscious beliefs you have yet to change. They show you the parts of yourself that still hold fear, doubt, and limitation. The moment you alter your inner narrative, they too will shift, or they will fade from your experience entirely. Nothing in your external world exists outside of your consciousness. Others are not independent forces acting upon you. They are reflections responding to you. Every relationship, every interaction, every encounter is an opportunity to see yourself more clearly. When you change your beliefs, the world and everyone in it must follow. Faith is not the desperate clinging to an outcome, nor is it the anxious waiting for a sign. Faith is certainty in the unseen, a knowing so complete that it requires no validation. But this certainty cannot exist alongside attachment. The moment you become attached to something, you reveal your doubt. You reveal that you do not truly believe it is yours, that you fear its loss, that you question whether it will come to pass. True faith requires detachment, because only in detachment do you demonstrate absolute trust. No. Most people mistake desire for faith. They wish for something, they long for it, they beg for it, and they call this faith. But faith does not beg. Faith does not waver. Faith does not check over and over to see if the seed has sprouted before its time. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not dig it up each morning to ensure it is growing. He knows that the process is in motion, that nature is at work, that his role is not to interfere but to trust. Faith operates in the same way. Once you have assumed something to be true, you must release it. You must let go of the need to control how or when it happens, knowing that the work has already been done. Detachment is not indifference. It is not a lack of desire. It is the absence of desperation. To detach does not mean to stop caring. It means to stop worrying. It means knowing so deeply that your desire is already fulfilled that you no longer feel the need to question it. You do not chase what is already yours. You do not grasp at what is already secure. The more you cling to something, the more you push it away. For your very clinging is a declaration that you do not yet have it. The universe responds to conviction, not to pleading. It does not grant what you want. It grants what you believe. And belief is demonstrated through detachment. If you desire love but fear its absence, you will experience its absence. If you desire success but constantly check for signs of progress, you are affirming that it is not yet yours. When you truly believe in something, you release it into the world without hesitation. You do not need to see it immediately because you already know it is done. This is the essence of true faith. It does not rely on external confirmation. It does not need reassurance. It is complete within itself. Detachment is the ultimate proof of faith because it shows that you trust the unseen more than the seen, that you trust the cause more than the effect, that you trust yourself more than the world around you. Those who master detachment master creation. They do not struggle against reality. They shape it. They do not demand. They allow. And in allowing, they receive effortlessly what others chase in vain. Every great manifestation, every true transformation, every work of art, invention, or personal breakthrough is born in solitude. Creation does not take place in the noise of the crowd, nor does it require validation from the world before it comes into being. It begins within, unseen, unrecognized, and often misunderstood. The greatest works of the mind, the greatest shifts in reality, happen in the silence where no one is watching. The world teaches that progress is external, that results must be tangible before they are real. But everything that has ever been created existed first in the unseen. The idea, the vision, the assumption. All of it is formed in consciousness before it takes shape in the world. And because this process is internal, it is solitary. No one can enter your imagination. No one can perceive the world as you do. No one can create the vision that only you have been given. This is why creation is an act of faith. You must be willing to stand alone with an idea before it becomes reality. Most people fear solitude, mistaking it for isolation, but solitude is not loneliness, it is power. It is the space where the mind is free from the interference of the outside world, where distractions fade, and the true creative force is allowed to operate without resistance. Those who depend on the opinions of others before they act will never create anything truly original. They will conform, they will adjust, they will water down their vision to fit what is already accepted. But creation does not arise from conformity. It arises from those who dare to stand apart, who trust what they see within more than what they see without. The process of creation often feels invisible, even unacknowledged, because it does not immediately yield external proof. This is where many falter. They expect immediate confirmation. They seek reassurance. They want the world to recognize their efforts before the work is done. But the nature of creation is such that the world only sees the result, never the process. The artist paints alone before the world admires. The writer writes alone before the book is read. The visionary dreams alone before the world conforms to their vision. Every act of creation demands patience, for what is unseen takes time to materialize. The solitary nature of creation also means that no one can do it for you. You cannot delegate the process of becoming. You cannot borrow someone else's faith. You cannot rely on external forces to bring forth what must be birthed from within. The responsibility is yours alone. And while this may feel daunting, it is also the greatest power you possess. For if creation is solitary, then nothing outside of you has the ability to stop you. The world can doubt, it can question, it can ignore, but it cannot interfere with what is formed in the unseen. Those who embrace the solitude of creation are the ones who reshape reality. They do not need approval, for they already know. They do not wait for permission, for they understand that the act of creation is its own authority. They do not fear the silence, for they recognize it as the space where the unseen becomes. In conclusion, the journey of life is a sacred and solitary path, where true transformation begins within. The world reflects our consciousness, and the people we encounter are mere reflections of our beliefs. Faith requires detachment, for it is only through releasing our attachments that we demonstrate true trust in the unseen. Creation, too, is a solitary act, born from the depth of our own consciousness. As we walk alone, separate from the world's distractions, we embrace the power within, shaping our reality and manifesting our desires. Ultimately, it is through this solitude that we come to know our true strength and purpose.